Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at Noon.
A Southern Kentucky man accused of hitting a teenager on a bike and then escaping to Ohio is back in Kentucky and before a judge this morning.
A small community is just beginning to deal with the loss of a newly elected city official.
We're sitting dry for today. It's a beautiful day. It's just daggum cold. And then as we go throughout the weekend, here's where that system's going to be moving on in. Are we expecting rain, snow, cold temperatures, warm temperatures? I think you'll actually like this. I'll show you your forecast coming up. WKYT News and Noon starts right now.
And good afternoon from WKYT News. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Barbara Bailey. It's our most clicked on story of the day at WKYT.com. We're learning more about a woman who was found dead in an eastern Kentucky home.
A maintenance worker found 63-year-old Elaine Hall yesterday inside her Holly Point apartment in Harlan. Police say she had been dead for about a month. WKYT's Rebecca Smith is at our live desk with some reaction from neighbors. And it's our top story at noon. Rebecca?
Yeah, neighbors pretty shocked here. A maintenance man found the body at an apartment complex called Holly Point in Harlan. Police think 63-year-old Elaine Hall died of natural causes, but they're still awaiting formal word from an autopsy report. According to investigators, her adult son lives there and told them she died about a month ago. He says he didn't tell anyone because he was, quote, praying for a miracle. Neighbors say because they didn't see her around too often, they didn't really think anything was wrong.
We see them come out maybe like 3 times since the whole time we've lived here, and that's only because they usually don't come out until really late at night or really early in the morning.
And police say the son got some medical treatment and a local minister was called in to console him. At the live desk, Rebecca Smith, WKYT.
Rebecca, thank you. Hall's body has been sent to Frankfort for an autopsy to determine the exact cause of death. 3 arrest warrants have been issued in an eastern Kentucky murder case. State police are looking for Floyd Sexton, John Maggard, and Jennifer Jernigan. They're accused in the shooting death of Bill Collins earlier this month in Floyd County. State police say Sexton and Maggard got into some kind of fight with Collins before Sexton shot and killed him. Investigators say Jernigan then drove a getaway car.
We have new details this morning as to the way a central Kentucky community plans to move forward after the death of the mayor-elect there. The Lincoln County coroner says T.J. Hill's son found him inside their home yesterday afternoon. He died of natural causes. WKYT's Whitney Wetzel has reaction from one of the people who knew him best.
The Stanford community is coping with the loss of Mayor-elect T.J. Hill. Some of his closest friends tell us he was excited to take office and had plans to unify the town.
He had a lot of other things, but he said, if we don't have unity in the town, we can't do these other things.
Police say Hill's teenage son found him dead inside of his Main Street home yesterday afternoon. It was a shock for many who knew him. Hill's friends tell us he worked for the Stanford Police Department for 15 years. But getting elected to a city office was something he and his friends were very excited for. It also made Hill the 4th in his family to be elected. While he didn't ever get to serve as mayor, friends of the 55-year-old hope whoever takes that spot will still carry out Hill's plans.
It was a shock, but, you know, like God whispered in my ear and said, TJ got to go out on top. God loved him that much. Not many people get to do that.
Now, I talked to the county attorney about how the city plans to fill Hill's empty seat. He says once the newly elected city council members are sworn in at the beginning of next year, they'll have 30 days to vote in a new mayor. In Lincoln County, Whitney Wetzel, WKYT.
Whitney, thank you. The coroner says Hill died of natural causes, but his body was sent to Frankfort for an autopsy. Funeral arrangements are still pending. Glenn Wilkinson, the son of Kentucky's late Governor Wallace Wilkinson, has died. The Herald-Leader says he died of an apparent heart attack at his Sarasota, Florida home. He was 44 years old. His father, Wallace Wilkinson, was the governor of the Commonwealth from 1987 to 1991. He died in 2002. Former First Lady Martha Wilkinson died in May at the age of 77.
Well, heavy snow has finally stopped falling in the Buffalo, New York area, but a rapid warm-up and rain could give way to flooding over this weekend when temperatures there are now expected to hit 60 degrees. The historic 4-day lake-effect snowstorm dumped more than 7 feet of snow on the ground, and it claimed at least a dozen lives. 2 seniors died yesterday while their nursing home was being evacuated because of a possible roof collapse. The storm has forced the NFL to move Sunday's scheduled matchup between the Buffalo Bills and the Detroit Lions to the Motor City on Monday. We have one final day of this Arctic chill around here before finally some warmer weather for the weekend for the bluegrass. How long will that last, though? Probably not very long as we head into Thanksgiving week. Let's go to WKYT meteorologist Micah Harris. Micah?
Well, we're looking outside and we're hoping to see some warm answers. And today, you're not going to get them. There's Frankfurt outside. It looks beautiful. I mean, it kind of looks like, if you're looking on the sky cam, it looks like it would just be a really good looking and good feeling day, but it's not. I mean, it's nice outside, but it's still very chilly. Look at these temperatures sitting there in the 30s. We're at 33 degrees in Lexington. We broke a record this morning in Frankfurt at 14 degrees and beat that record of 15 early this morning. 34 there in Somerset, and I think we'll finish off there in the mid to upper 30s, kind of depending on where you are, but nonetheless, still going to be chilly anywhere you are located. Going into the evening, got any playoff football games? Still going? Yeah, there you are, 32 there around kickoff. Now, as we work our way into the night, I want you to watch this. Typically, we have our overnight lows right there around 7 to 8 a.m., right around that sunrise time. But look at the coldest portion of the night. It's at midnight. And the reason being is you get those winds switching around. We talked about it all morning long. Coming in from the north, yeah, let's switch it around to the south, and that's going to really warm us up quickly for tomorrow. We'll be in the 50s tomorrow and towards Sunday, but rain's on one of those days, and I'll show you when coming up in a few minutes.
All right, thank you. More news. A man charged in a drunk driving crash was back in a southern Kentucky courtroom this morning. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office says Terry Mullins was driving drunk during a hit-and-run accident that critically injured a 17-year-old over the summer. WKYT's Phil Pendleton is in Laurel County now with the latest on the case. Phil?
Well, Terry Mullins was actually in 2 different courtrooms on 2 different cases this morning. First of all, he was arraigned on his original charge of DUI and assault and leaving the scene of an accident from the accident that happened on September the 5th. Then he was arraigned on the escape charges in district court. Mullins walked into the Laurel Circuit courtroom moments after a Laurel County grand jury indicted him on charges of assault first, DUI, leaving the scene of an accident, and failure to render aid. Police say on September 5th he was driving a van on US 25 near Corbin when he hit R.J. Warren, who was riding his bike. Police say Mullins was later found passed out drunk behind the wheel of his van with the teen's backpack still attached to the grill. He was arrested and placed on home incarceration, but he escaped. But he was pulled over in what police call a routine traffic stop in Ohio and brought back to Kentucky. Not much was said this morning, and Mullins simply answered the questions from the judge.
What's your name, please?
Terry Mullins.
And what's your address?
107 Greenfield Lane, Corbin, Kentucky, 40701.
And because of all of this that happened, Terry Mullins is now being held under no bond. In Laurel County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
The judge set a pretrial hearing for Mullins for December 22nd.
More interviews are underway this afternoon in the search for an interim superintendent for Fayette County's public schools. Former Danville Independent School Superintendent Carmen Coleman was interviewed by the school board yesterday. Longtime educator Marlene Helm and a third candidate who does not want to be named are being interviewed today. Tom Shelton plans to resign at the end of December. The board hopes to hire an interim superintendent while they search for Shelton's permanent replacement. The board is also working to redistrict the state's second largest school system and try to fix financial problems that were identified by State Auditor Adam Edlin. A Lexington businessman is planning to go door to door to help those less fortunate stay warm this winter.
Kevin Ivers runs a carpet cleaning company. This weekend, he's using his cleaning truck to collect coat donations from Lexington homes. He'll then take all of the donations to the Salvation Army. Ivers plans to collect donations through Sunday. The Salvation Army has been expressing its need for coats since that cold weather moved in early. The Kentucky Horse Park is about to get a lot brighter when the annual Southern Lights opens tonight. Each year, nearly 27,000 vehicles pass through the holiday light display. Gates open at 5:30 each night. Now, in addition to the lights, there are all kinds of activities for children. You may even spot a live reindeer if you're looking carefully. Southern Lights runs through December 31st.
We know the season is here now, right? Hopefully big crowds out there at the horse park. Well, President Obama announces some major changes to the nation's immigration system.
We'll have reaction from Congress to the president's plan next on Kentucky's #1 Midday News.
Also ahead on WKYT, a young woman fighting cancer keeps her word to friend and a Bengals player. We'll have more on her special gift to him. Coming up on WKYT News at noon.